Hello and welcome to Midday Live on TV3. My name is Bright Nana Amfo. Coming up this afternoon, some schools closed down in the Kwao East district due to security reasons following death of 8 persons involving nomadic herdsmen and residents. We'll give you more update on that. And help comes to a 57-year-old visually impaired farmer in the Volta region barely 24 hours after he narrated his challenges. On the foreign front, World Meteorological Organization says concentrations of CO2 in the Earth's atmosphere surged to a record high in 2016. We have details of these plus business and sports coming up. Thanks so much for staying there. To the very first story, the Hohoe-Jasikan Road has become a death trap. The 20-kilometer road has developed craters leading to avoidable accidents and frequent breakdown of vehicles. Peter Kwa-Adato has this story.
The Hohoe-Jasikan stretch of the Eastern Corridor Road in the Volta region has developed craters at several points between Santrokofi and Apafu. The state of the road had gone from bad to worse after the contractor, Mrs. Rolida, had left site in March this year. Only a few drivers risked using the road, as all other communities along the stretch remained cut off.
Vehicles no longer ply the road. It has become a serious challenge for we residents along the Hohoe-Jasikan Road.
This reporter got to Jasikan on Saturday, October 28, but no driver was prepared to ply the 20-kilometer road to Hohoe.
The state of the road is terrible. We prefer to use the long winding roads to Hohoe. We can't continue to be borrowing on repairs. The contractor was forced to abandon the road because of change of government. This has left the road in a more deplorable state, and we have no option than to change the routes.
They rather preferred going through Bodada, Baika, Lolobi to Hohoe, which is not better either. Bent on accessing the state of the road, we hired a motorbike, and that was a lifetime experience. A journey of 20 minutes drive took us nearly 2 hours. The first crater was full of water and mud. This taxi cab from Tema had its ball joint removed.
It's almost 7 o'clock here, but we have to wait for the fitter to come from Hohoe to this place. We don't even know where we are. The road is in a deplorable state.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have lost count of the number of vehicles that have broken down between Apafu and Santrokofi Saturday evening. And these passengers, including lactating mothers and pregnant women, were stranded.
Normally we used 15 minutes or 20 minutes from Hohoe to Jasikan, but now almost 2 hours. So we are praying for the government to come down and do something for us.
We are pleading on the government just to help us so that they will just fix the road for us. We are suffering.
But the worst was ahead, where a truck carrying rosewood capsized, creating more nightmares for road users. By Sunday morning, a sawmill at Hohoe had put their machines at the disposal of the commuters to help pull the vehicles out of the mud.
So the road is actually bad and terrible and disturbing everybody. It's not very nice. When you get nearer to it, in fact, it's an eyesore.
The sawmillers have also created this access, but highly dangerous to use. The messages from all these people are clear: an unconditional recall of Mrs. Wolida to the site to complete the mess that had been created to end their sufferings.
Peter Kwadato's report. In other stories, 8 persons have been confirmed dead in a reprisal attacks between nomadic herdsmen and residents of the Kwahu East district of the Eastern region. The attacks occurred in separate incidents over the past 4 days. Clashes between residents and herdsmen trace back to almost a decade with several lives lost. A few weeks ago, nomadic herdsmen reportedly attacked a nurse at the Yorubiase Chips compound and attempted to abscond with a motorbike belonging to the facility, but it was later retrieved. The destruction of crops by herds of cattle has over the years generated mistrust and sometimes clashes between communities and cattle herders. From Agogo in the Ashanti region, the Afram Plains in the eastern region to some parts of the northern, upper, east and west regions, as well as the Volta region, the issue of herdsmen community mistrust has raised security issues. There have been calls on governments passed by both peasant farmers and the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers on the need to pass the cattle ranching bill to help curb the perennial confrontation between host communities and cattle herders. And as more on the story, the national chairman of the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers, Imam Hanafi Sunday, says more needs to be done to ensure a lasting solution is found to the perennial conflict between farmers and herdsmen. He spoke with Stephen Enti on News 10 on Sunday night.
We are very, very sad about the incident, and then we have condemned it, and I think measures must be taken very seriously to be able to put end to this very, very sad news that we always get.
I know that herdsmen have had to face a lot of, I don't want to say stigma, but because of the actions of quite a few people among yourselves, you do get quite a lot of bashing, especially from communities who accuse you of all sorts of things. How worried is the association, and what steps are you taking in order to bring to an end some of these frequent clashes between communities and cattle herders?
I think the Ghana National Association of Cattle Farmers has been campaigning for peace all around, and then one of our objectives is to find ways and means to bring this conflict to an end by supporting all stakeholders. But the issue is that sometimes I always used to make it clear to people that most of the times what we hear on the air does not at least represent exactly what happened at the grassroots. And we always used to say that sometimes when issues occur like this, we need to make thorough investigations so that we'll be able to come out with the right or the actual position of the matter. For instance, what just went on in Kwahu, you find out that what it happened when
Now let's stay on the issue. Dr. Bwanani is the chairman of the Ghana Cattle Ranching Project Committee, and he's just joined me on the phone. Good afternoon, sir, and grateful for your time.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So we've been trying hard to find a solution to this crisis. We've not been successful. What are we doing wrong?
Well, this is an old problem, and there have been a lot of strategies, trying to solve it, which haven't worked. That is why the government set up a committee, to look at the various issues and then come out with a strategy. What we haven't done right is that There is an ECOWAS protocol for transhumans, and we in Ghana, we haven't followed it. So we allow anything to happen. And that's what we have to do now. We have to ensure that the protocol is followed.
So as simple as that, following the ECOWAS protocols?
Well, that would be number one. And number two, for us to find out strategies, to ensure that whilst the transhuman herdsmen and cattle are in the country, they don't cause any problem. Because they are here, basically for three things: for feed for the cattle, water, and also to undertake trade. And then we also benefit, from the animals in the sense that they give us meat. We also buy some of the animals to rear. So we have to provide feed for them in such a way that it wouldn't create any problems. And what is done in other places, for instance, is that they have ranches or they have reserves, where the animals go to graze and get water. And in that case, then there's no disturbance to anybody.
So when the issue broke out the last time, there was talk about establishing cattle ranches, and I'm sure one of your mandate was that. It was not successful from what you're saying.
Well, the committee has been working for just about 5 months, and it takes time to do these sort of things. We need to source lands, look at where we can get land, and then other measures put into it. I mean, we need to get water. If there's running water that will be adequate to provide water, then it means we have to probably get dams, dugouts done. And this takes a bit of time, but we will definitely be working on it. And also to ensure that they pass through approved entry points. And wherever they are going, assuming they are coming from, say, Burkina Faso border, to the Afram trains, they can get there just within a day. So it means they have to be resting points and corridors, monitored, approved corridors where they will pass. In that case, then they are not going to destroy, crops.
So the cattle ranching is the field is the solution. You said the committee has been in place for 5 months. Do you know exactly perhaps when this can materialize so that this perennial conflict, can be stopped?
Well, I expect that we will see significant improvement next year. But at the moment, what we need to do will have to be to talk to the cattle headers, probably get their own people to talk to them so that right things are done at the moment.
I'm grateful.
That will help, cut down the problem we are facing. We need to do that as much as possible, interacting with them and making sure the right things are done, because the problem seems to be more in the dry season, and we are getting towards the dry season.
All right.
And therefore, we need to...
Grateful for your time this afternoon. Dr. Opoku Anane is the chairman of the Ghana Cattle Ranching Project Committee. Let's stay on it a bit longer. ASP Ebenezer Tete speaks for the Eastern Regional Police Command. Good afternoon, sir. And we last heard that no arrest is being made. What is the situation at the moment?
As we speak now, the situation in the Kwawu East area is calm.
And have you made any arrest?
So far, not.
No arrest has been made?
Yeah, simply because most of the thefts occurred in the bushes around Yobiase, Apunyam, and then Ntiamu communities. And it's been difficult because the people are killed. The police only get to hear of it the following day. We go and we identify the body, or family members help the police to identify the body. In substance, the bodies are picked and deposited at the morgue. So we cannot say that this person or that person is behind the killing. The only thing that we are relying on seriously now is intelligence, and that we are enlisting the support of both the Fulani people and then the indigenous to assist us by way of information so that we can get to the bottom of those who are behind the Dastardly Act or the perpetrators to get them arrested and bring them to book.
ASP Ebenezer Tetteh, we're grateful. He is the Eastern Regional Command Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Police Service. They're talking to me on the herdsmen farmers conflict in part of the Kwahu district of the Eastern region. We'll update you more on that. But in other stories, he has no regrets venturing into agriculture. Instead of begging on the street seeking alms from passers-by, he has a 5-acre farm producing foodstuff to feed the nation. In the following report, Kwabena Dujemfi introduces us to 57-year-old Lawrence Demebu, who has special skills as a farmer.
Meet 57-year-old Lawrence Demebu. Lawrence is not just an ordinary farmer. In fact, he is a unique farmer with special skills. Just take a closer look at him, and you'll see that he certainly is one of a kind.
When I realized I could no longer see with my right eye, I started seeking for medical solution, but I could not get any cure till it extended to the left eye. Eventually, I was told it was spiritual.
American advocate for the disabled, Robert Hensel, once said, "No disability is capable of clearly defining who you are as a person." The story of Lawrence clearly defines this quote. Lawrence has walked through the world of darkness, a world that has become familiar to him for the past 35 years. But his impairment has not stopped him from taking to agriculture. Lawrence can easily differentiate between the crops, and he carries his duties with ease.
Each crop has its unique features. Once I touch the stem, I'm able to identify the type of plant. This has become easy for me because I knew this before going blind.
Cassava is just one of the many crops he cultivates here at Liati Dalakpeji in the Volta region. Curious to know more about him, I followed through his 5-acre palm, yam and cocoyam plantation.
This year, I cultivated just a few. Almost all my produce was stolen last year due to my disability.
Unfortunately, Lawrence is unable to harvest all his farm produce, but he is able to harvest some for sale. He tells me last month he was able to make 150 cedis from his palm plantation. When Lawrence lost his sight in August 1995, he did not lose hope, and his story is a testimony of what hope, determination, and the will to live can do. Farming does not pay for Lawrence. According to the United Nations, persons with disabilities comprise an estimated 15% of the world's population, with 3% living in Ghana. Persons living with disability often encounter discrimination and exclusion on a daily basis. According to Lawrence, his wife jilted him when he lost his sight, and his only child died from measles.
Due to my disability, women in the community shy away from me. They feel I will not be able to take care of them.
The Sustainable Development Goal 10 aims to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor with support for marginalized groups. Despite his disability, Lawrence still hopes to make an impact in society. And after a hard day's work, he joins his friends to reflect. Ghana needs to use the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities as a guiding framework in implementing the SDGs. Lawrence may be visually impaired, but that won't stop him from seeing success and reaching to higher height. For TV3, Kwabna Edu Jemfi, Leat Dalekpeji, Volta Region.
Now let's go to the Minister of Food and Agriculture. The Bagbara Tanko is a public relations officer. He's just joined me on this very story. First of all, good afternoon, sir. And what kind of support will the ministry be offering Lawrence?
Good afternoon and good afternoon to your viewers. I was touched by viewing the effort of this visually impaired farmer yesterday. In fact, I tried reaching my Chief Director to get him also to view this, but that proved futile. Indeed, he has proved to us that disability is not inability. I have since requested for footage of the story so that I could make a report through the Chief Director to them so that we'll see what intervention we can put in place. That notwithstanding, this policy of planting for food and job, I think the visually impaired person fits into that program. If there's going to be any form of assistance, I think it will be through that policy, where inputs are made available to the interested farmer. You provide your land, they survey the land, they register you electronically, they give you the seed, they give you the fertilizer. Free extension services are extended to such persons. And when you harvest, then the government purchases these produce and pay you upfront. So I think there's for our father and brother who is physically challenged and is putting efforts to make ends meet.
And so, before I let you go, apart from Lawrence, the code with several other farmers with one form of disability or the other. Perhaps, how wide would the ministry open its arms to some of these unfortunate ones?
Yes, the ministry has been very open to every Ghanaian that want to access facilities under the ministry to enable you produce. Indeed, government is taking efforts through planting for food and jobs to create jobs and make farming a kind of business worth entering into. So it has rolled out this program for all of us, and our doors are widely open. If, for instance, you're at the district level, you contact the MOFA district office, you put forward your proposal that is indicating the acreage you want to produce and also indicating the crop. You are registered, it's forwarded to the regional MOFA office and transmitted to the head office, where approval is given, and then you are given all the inputs required for you to start production. It is open to every Ghanaian, and we just need to tap in and start production.
All right. We're grateful for your time. Bagbara Tanko is a public relations officer of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. The farmer Lawrence Demebu gets support from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. This is Midday Live. Time now to take a break. When we come back, there's more business as the Vice President returns from the World Bank Group's Investment Summit far away in Austria. Stay with us. We have that coming up. Right, the Vice President is back from Austria, Vienna, to participate in the World Bank Group's Investment Competitiveness Forum. He also participated in the 7th Nordic African Business Summit in Oslo, Norway. Fallout, several of them. We'll discuss them this afternoon. My guest is a Deputy Minister of Information and Member of Parliament for the Ofuasi Ayerbi constituency. Good afternoon, sir. Grateful for your time. So let's start with this one. Currently, perhaps on the desk of government is the energy bonds. We're told that we made 900 million out of 3.6. That's quite good or bad?
Well, so we're trying to raise about 6 billion Ghana cedis through two different instruments, a 7-year bond and a 10-year bond.
Right.
For the 7-year bond, we're trying to raise about 2.4 billion, and then for the 10-year bond, about 3.6 billion. The 7-year bond was oversubscribed, actually, by about 5% thereabout, and we're paying a yield of about 19% on it. So we've closed the books on that one. But the confirmed bids that we received for the 10-year bond, just a little under $1 billion instead of about 3.6 billion. There was a lot of inquiry about the structure, people who are interested but want higher rates for it, and we're of the view that we don't need to pay a higher risk premium for it. We've decided to give it a 1-week extension. The transaction advisors and the associates who are working on it are deciding to give it a 1-week extension to, I think, about the 3rd of November, by which time the interested investors can get the necessary internal approvals from their side. And they inform us that we should have a significant close on that one as well.
I see. But so does it mean lack of confidence in the economy?
No, not at all. I mean, like I said, we're raising 6 billion through two different instruments. The first one has even been oversubscribed. Does that mean overconfidence in the economy? No. These bonds have various things that affect, how they are sold. Principal among them is the interest that is being paid and the structure of how the transaction is put together. Now, there are people who want to take up these bonds, but they want higher rates. And one of the principal things that we believe that looking at the current comparable rates on the market, we don't need to pay a higher risk premium for it. And that is why we are pegging it just around 19.5%. And we are hopeful that within the next 5 days or so, a lot of the investors who have expressed interest will get the internal approvals that they require and close the bids that they are indicating that they want to put in. We think that generally the level of confidence that has been brought back to the economy is good for us. On this specific transaction, we are hoping that as they get their internal clearance, they will close in at the rates that we prefer. We don't want to pay higher for it.
The government is comfortable with it?
Yeah.
Very comfortable. Now, let's talk about the Vice President just returned from the summit. Now, Ghana was selected to be a member of the Investment Reformers Network.
Yeah.
How crucial is this?
I think it's a big deal and it's great news for Ghana, because all over the world, people are looking at countries that are restructuring or reforming their economies, doing interesting new things that make it easier for foreign direct investment to enter their markets. And it's very good news that Ghana has been identified as one of those countries that is very quickly introducing reforms, key among them paperless introduction at the port, particularly an attempt to register companies in a paperless manner. We've done a digital address system. We are locking in a national ID. We are going for interoperability. These new reforms, in addition to some of the advantages that we gave private businesses at the beginning in the 2017 budget, have been recognized on the world stage. And so the Vice President was invited to come and essentially share the story with the world so that others could also pick lessons from there. That was at the World Bank Investment Summit in Austria. In Norway, he was invited as a keynote speaker at the Nordic Africa Business Summit. And that's also an interesting platform, because what happens is that the Scandinavian countries that are also looking to export their investments or look for new markets where they can invest and partner with local businesses, again, are recognizing some of the things that Ghana is doing, and they invited him to come and explain and leverage what we are doing to build partnerships. On the site, he held up to about 18 different meetings with potential investors. A lot of them complained about some of the difficulties they are having in locking down investments in Ghana. We talk a lot, but sometimes when it comes to people actually going through the process to facilitate, then it becomes difficult. And what he's doing now is to push heavily through the delivery unit and the GIPC to facilitate the partnerships required between these Nordic investors and Ghanaian business people for us to all see the benefits.
Which means the government is also then looking at freeing the system down here, so that these people that the Vice President have spoken to then would come in and have a system that they can easily fit in.
Exactly so. And the challenge usually is that when you get into the delivery structure, you have people who will toss you about, people who play paperwork about. There's a cumbersome process. But with what we are gaining now, initially we used to say that political stability is why people should come. Now we have economic stability that we are trying to entrench. And as we bring in these investors who are looking for local partners to work with, what we have to do here on this end is to ensure that we match our words with action so that people are comfortable to put their money in this economy.
Kujo, I'm grateful for your time.
Thank you.
Kujo Ponkroma is a Deputy Minister of Information and Member of Parliament for the Ofuase Ayiribi constituency, talking to me there. Now, time to talk something about education, and the Italian ambassador to Ghana has been talking about Ghana's educational system, and he's talking about cooperation with Ghana for mutual gains. Let's listen to him.
Italian culture and language are traditionally celebrated in the month of October worldwide. Italians for centuries have created masterpieces and unique techniques to reach top levels in the arts, science, social and economic fields. It is against this backdrop that the embassy seeks to intensify awareness among the Ghanaian community while providing a home-like atmosphere to its citizens. According to the Italian ambassador to Ghana, there is a growing interest in African cuisine among Italians, hence the need to invest in the hospitality industry.
We would like to have Ghanaians reflect about food, about wine, about the importance of sitting together at the table, enjoying and trying to consider food as a bit of a craft or something that you build, that you do with love and with passion, and you try to make it at your best with the best ingredients.
The Chief Executive Officer of VinAfrica, Vanessa Kokojaba, said an increasing independent and globalized world is necessary to widen collaborative effort with other countries in Africa for economic growth.
We can bottle our culture and promote it outside. How have they done it? How have they shown to the rest of the world their pizza, their spaghetti, and everyone has bought into that? Can we do that from Ghana with our jollof rice? Can we do that from Ghana by blending some of our chocolates and dishes as well? Let's bring the vineyards over. Let's look at what they have done centuries and centuries.
Early on, the Italian ambassador was talking about education. He's been talking about Ghana-Italian cooperation in the field of economics. This is Midday Live. We're stepping on the break, so we'll come back. We'll tell you all that you need to know from the world of sports. Stay with us. Time for entertainment, and we're talking about RTP Awards. Media General scooped 5 of the awards at the 2017 edition, and Fable News anchor Alfred Okansi grabbed the Male News Anchor of the Year, with News 360 winning the news program of the year. Usuwarai brings us all the highlights.
I'm coming to you from Accra International Conference Center, and we are here for the 7th Radio and Television Personality Awards, and it's a platform to reward excellence and part media personalities on their back for their wonderful work. But the big question today is, who walks home with what?
Mixmaster Gazi. Yeah. Oh na 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 na. Oh na na na. Oh na na na. Hey. Stone boy. Yeah, me tell them say continue to do your wine.
Are we going home with awards tonight?
Hopefully, yes.
I see this as a compliment to what we are doing as we continue to deliver and give our best from Media General.
For us, we are very excited. Very, very excited, and we are hopeful that we're bringing this home.
All right, so basically, just heard from the team. They sounded very confident of their chances. They feel that a lot of work has gone into what they do on TV and on radio respectively, and so it will be positive to walk home with awards. So let's walk inside and find out if indeed we can go home with awards. News 360 won the TV News Program of the Year, beating competition from other stations.
I present this award to the Media General Group, especially to the news team. Thank you.
John Hughes, host of Community Connect on 3FM, was adjudged Radio Development Show Host of the Year.
the communities have spoken. God has endorsed it, and we brought home the award. And this is a special dedication to all of them, that hard work pays. It only brings results. It doesn't break anybody's bones, and we're happy we did hard work. What it tells us is that moving on, this will spur us on to do even greater works.
TV Local Series of the Year went to Jamestown Fisherman.
I want to thank the people of Jamestown once again. I want to say thank you to all the characters in Jamestown Fisherman. I also want to thank the people of TV3.
Alfred Okansi won the Male Newscaster of the Year.
Thank God for this, to Reverend Ismail Awudu and the wife, to everybody at TV3, the CEO, the management, and the staff.
So far, it's been a good story. Media General winning on the night. So we just bagged in another award, and it goes for the mid-morning show host of the year, Urban Blend, and Miriam Mosenyajiman won that particular award. And we want to find out what this very award means to the family.
I believe that 3FM being just about 2 years old and chalking 2 awards already, it shows a sign of good things to come. Looking forward to 2018. It's supposed to be a better year. And so Miriam, I picked this award on behalf of her.
And whenever you hear this video, you better waste no time. Waste no time, you know we come from far, we don't watch nobody.
Well, great start from the Media General team. More congratulations to all the team members. Now to Ghana's most beautiful. Bonahafos Adum took a bow and was grateful for the opportunities and lessons learned in the competition. She is hopeful the platform provided will grant her audience and the necessary support to embark on her project. Ajuamofa has a story.
I believe to achieve good customer service and provide hospitable services in Ghana, there is the need for one, reorientation of frontline service providers. 2, excellent service provided must be a part of our culture. 3, developing mechanisms and systems which will help check poor customer service in Ghana. 4, there should be a day and an award scheme which will help celebrate customer excellence in our institution.
It was an emotional moment, but Adum says the learning process has been beneficial. For her, it is a competition and definitely some would have to go and others stay.
Whoa, Ebenezer, this is how far the Lord has brought Adum. It's been fun, it's been entertaining being with them. I've learned a lot. Sometimes I'll say something and they'll be like, it's not like that, say it this way. I've learned a lot from them. But all I'll say is that may the best person win. All of them are queens. And everybody has the potential of winning GMB 2017.
She said, however, that the eviction will not deter her from embarking on her maternal health education campaign.
A lot of people know me now, so I'll use that opportunity to tell the people about maternal mortality. The rate at which our women are dying is too much, so I would come in and then talk about maternal mortality in the Brogaf region.
Meanwhile, judges say they are looking for an embodiment of a beauty queen, not just a stage performer. According to them, whoever is crowned at the end of the competition should be able to represent the Ghana's most beautiful brand and maintain the standard it has kept over the years.
All said and done, we're looking for a beauty queen. And this queen must be able to speak intelligently, must have poise, must be an all-rounder, must have good knowledge of our norms and traditions. So if you come and recite something and you don't own it, we know that you haven't learned anything.
Right.
When you were coming into the house, we knew that you didn't know everything, but you've been given an opportunity to learn. So if you come and stand here and you recite and you miss your words, that tells me that you didn't learn anything, because if you learned it, you'll be able to say it without memorizing. So that's what we're looking for.
The contestants staged a hospitality-themed performance talking about how welcoming Ghanaians are as a people. Addressing the different ways in which the people showcased their warm hospitality, each of their performances was with a moral lesson and a word of caution. While Adom was adjudged most disciplined in the reality house, Nana won both most eloquent and star performer for the night. Ghana's Most Beautiful 2017 strayed out of Ghana.
And of course, what you need to do is to keep voting for your favorite contestant. My name is Bright Nana Amfo. Thanks so much for joining us. There's more news on freenews.com. Good afternoon.